All right, now to entertainment news and Rick's reviews. Our entertainment expert is in studio with his pick of his top 5 scariest movies. I love this because I went through that teenage phase where you watch the scary movies so the cute boy can hold your hand. Ooh, it was scary, right? Exorcist scarred me. It was so scary as a child. So that to me has been kind of that basis of scary movies. I really want to see, what are all of your picks?
Well, let's just start with number 5.
Okay.
And I've gone to a very recent film for that, and Talk to Me. Okay. It's a film that came out earlier this year. It's by a couple of brothers from Australia. And it's a tale of a bunch of teenagers who get together. There's this petrified hand of a medium, and it supposedly connects you to the demon world. Well, it does, and it brings those demons back into the world with you. What I like about this film is what I've always argued about horror films is too many directors got away from scaring you and try to startle you or gross you out with buckets of blood or intestines and everything. These two brothers found a way to really reunite, bring back what it means to scare people. So at number 5, I picked Talk to Me, available on DVD if you want to go see it.
Okay, and more of like a thriller. What's your number 4?
Number 4, I'm going back 100 years to the film Nosferatu.
Okay.
This is a German film, silent film by F.W. Murtaugh that I am convinced set the groundwork, created the blueprint for every horror film to come along. The use of light and dark, the use of the soundtrack to create tension and scares, it's incredible. And even after 100 years, when you watch it, it still has this deep creepiness that just, you don't want to watch it with the lights off. So again, Nosferatu, I think, it really set the standard for what we want to see as far as horror films.
I just love that it was 100 years ago now that we're talking about these two.
Exactly, and yet you look at these images and it's just really a terrifying film.
It looks like it. Okay, so number 3.
Number 3 is The Ring. Now, this is a film, you can boil this down. The film is about a videotape that people get passing around. When you get to the end of that videotape, there's a message that says you're going to die in a week. And you have there are people trying to figure out how not to die. Okay, but the thing that stuck with me and still sticks with me is the image you're seeing on the screen right now of this young girl with this long hair. There's a scene where she comes crawling out of the television set that still gives me nightmares. And we've seen other people try to mimic this, but I'm telling you, The Ring, without being too gory, just really created this tension. And it's based on a Japanese film that is equally as good. So I would say find The Ring, either the original Japanese version or the American version.
And that's one of the ones I saw as a teenager, and where I think it's one of the opening scenes, they scared the young girl to death, and the way her body is all petrified, that gives me nightmares. Oh yeah,
it's a great film for that.
So getting scarier than this, what could be number 2 for you?
Well, number 2 is your favorite, and The Exorcist. This film changed horror movies forever. First horror movie to be nominated for Best Picture, which shows you how good it was. Not only for the special effects, but for the way, I think it introduced us to a world where, in the past, vampires don't exist, Frankenstein, but when we blend this sort of faith-based story in with it, and I read the original book before I saw the movie, and the book is incredible about saying, well, this event happened in Russia, and it sort of laid the groundwork that there's part reality, maybe. And so the fact that it brushes up to reality is what proves to be the scariest. And I'm telling you, I cannot listen to Tubular Bells without getting chills up my spine.
Oh, exactly. There's something about the music and the simplicity of it.
Exactly.
It wasn't the jump out and scare you kind of horror.
It's good versus evil.
Yes.
As pure as you can get it.
Oh, still gives me nightmares. So then what is your number 1?
Well, number 1 remains Halloween.
Okay.
And what I've always said is, to me, the movie that scares me the most are the ones that come closer to reality. If you go back and watch Halloween, the original Halloween, up until that final scene, and I will dismiss that one, everything that happens in that could have happened in your hometown. It could have been a mad person going through town, popping up in your neighborhood. There's a scene in it where he kills, he impales a young person on the refrigerator door. I don't know if you remember that, but that scene, the way he just stands and stares at it, it's almost animalistic. It goes beyond, it's just terrifying. And so Halloween really set the standard because it brushes up to reality so closely until the final moment.
And then, yeah, that ruined it all. But that's another one where that music kind of lingers with you.
Yeah, and you need all those elements. You need a great story, you need the use of black and white, and you need music, because I think music really does add to the terror.
It does. It just resonates. So I wanted to ask you about a couple of my top 5s. Not recommending that someone go and watch these, just talking about how they give us nightmares. Exorcist gave me nightmares.
Right.
The Poltergeist.
Poltergeist?
I accidentally saw that when I was 5. Don't tell my mom. I walked in on my much older brothers watching it, and it shattered me down to my core. It still scares me.
It does. And you know, the thing is, I was trying to do top 5 because we don't have all day.
Right.
Poltergeist would certainly make my top 10.
Would it? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of films out there that are really good horror films, but when you're trying to narrow down to 5, I was trying to give a nice mix of old and new and so forth. Yeah. And the Taylor Swift movie would not make the top 10.
No matter how scary it may be.
No matter how scary